If you're a digital artist, I know for a fact you have experienced all these canon events. Getting your first tablet is generally one of the most exciting and also most dramatic moments in an artist's life, because you're fully convinced that this device will solve all your artistic problems. Now, this right here is not my first tablet, but it is a Kamvas 16 Gen 3, which Huion was kind enough to send my way, and I will be testing it out and using it to demonstrate some canon events in this video. This is the true star of the show, and a key to my success. It also comes with a stand, of course, which you can adjust to your wanted angle. No need to strain your neck more than you already have. And this is the pen. Comes with some funny side buttons also. And my favorite thing is the donut, obviously. Well, really, it is to store some spare nibs, but I like to call it donut for obvious reasons. This device comes with a 3-in-1 cable, so you don't have to fight with the pain of cable management. You can just plug it in right here and plug the things on the other end to your computer, and boom, you're basically ready to go. All these cool supplies, though, have given all of us the illusion that your drawing skills will magically be upgraded to the next level once you just plug everything in and start creating. But the sad reality, though, is that after drawing that first line, you do end up realizing that it looks exactly the same as all the other million lines you have drawn in the past.
Bruh.
What a freaking scam, honestly. Once you have got the tablet working, you will face your next challenge, the actual software to draw on. You have probably taken a deep dive to the internet and asked which program is the one you should go with, and then like 500 people appear in the comments demanding you use their program, or you have sinned or something. There's like, for example, Photoshop, Clip Studio, Procreate, IBIS Paint, krita, and for the niche programs someone will defend with their life when it is needed. Like, how are you as a beginner even supposed to know which one to pick? But if you're smart, you will choose krita, because krita never disappoints. I have also made a video teaching you how to get started with it if you need some guidance, Arkidos, so go check it out. But no matter what program you end up choosing, once you open it for the first time, it gives the same vibes as sitting inside the cockpit of a fighter jet. There are all these sliders, panels, buttons, menus, tabs. You click on some random setting and it ends up rotating your canvas to most unheard angle, and now your whole interface looks like Windows XP. I think this is the most overwhelming experience for a beginner digital artist, and I wonder how many people have just stopped their digital art career right at this moment. But you should just start experimenting and pressing different buttons, hoping something fixes the problem, because that has always been the go-to strategy when using any new tech anyway. And usually it actually works quite well too. But eventually you will also face the reality and realize that the tablet needs drivers to work properly. And the word drivers just sounds terrifying, honestly. It makes you sweat a bit, like something that requires a computer science degree to understand. But actually you just need to go to the website, download the driver, install it, and like restart your computer. And congrats, queen! You are now a certified hacker and have unlocked the secret power of pen pressure. I know your mom and dad must be so proud of you right now. The most powerful moment in digital art history has to be discovering the Ctrl+Z combination, which also can be called combination that single-handedly has destroyed artists' confidence worldwide. I know at first we all used it responsibly. When you made a mistake, you just undo it, which sounds reasonable, right? But eventually this does turn into an addiction of just redrawing the same line 20 times, trying to perfect it, and eventually you start undoing things that weren't even mistakes to begin with. Good luck trying to ever go back to traditional art after this, by the way. Your confidence to draw lines has been totally destroyed, and you can't imagine life without the undo button anymore. And paper just feels like some extremely outdated technology. And the same goes with zooming, because digital art lets you zoom in forever, and it feels so good to just zoom in 8000% and draw those microscopic detailed individual eyelashes. But once you zoom out, you realize the entire face is actually tilted sideways. And also, once you understand pen pressure, there's no going back. At first you drew lines and thought they were either too thick or too thin, but after playing around and watching a quick tutorial, suddenly your lines respond perfectly how hard you press, which all just feels like some kind of sorcery. And this Kamvas 16 tablet actually has 16,384 levels of pressure sensitivity, thanks to Huion's PenTech 4.0, which in artist language basically means that the pen understands your hand movements and make sure you get those thin and thick lines whenever you want, instead of just giving you one boring line. And also that moment when you finally discover the line stabilization and your shaky hands become professional, stable artist hands. That was one of the finest days of my life, honestly. And then there is the most controversial cheat of all time, copy pasting. Because like, why draw two eyes when you can just draw one and just duplicate it? Or why would you draw 10 stars when you could just copy one of them 10 times? Some of us have even reached a point where we efficiently stop drawing entirely and just start dragging things around the canvas. And that, my friends, is called productivity. This is the kind of event when artists actually feel betrayed after realizing that drawing on screen does not feel like paper at all. Paper has the friction and some texture and makes that satisfying scratchy sound that suits your artist's brain. But the glass though feels more like drawing on a frozen lake or something like that. It is so slippery and just unnatural, and the pen just slides across the screen like it is trying to escape to a whole another country. But fortunately, I can assure you, you do get used to it eventually. And some tablets like the Canvas 16 come with a paper-like texture to help you imagine yourself drawing on a paper instead of glass. And as a nice little bonus, this tablet screen also comes with something called anti-glare and anti-sparkle, which basically means that your screen won't reflect light so much and won't be grainy, to make your drawing experience feel more natural. And that, of course, is some awesome stuff. And also, after a while, the smoothness actually becomes real nice when you want to achieve those long, clean strokes. And you just refuse to go back to real paper after that, since now it just feels too crunchy. Dang, artists are really never satisfied with anything, right? I also know we have all been through the color crisis when we first started digital. The unlimited color selection that the color wheel offers sounds like a blessing any artist deserves. But once you actually try to choose a soft pastel pink color, and on the screen it ends up looking like a radioactive strawberry yogurt, pain is so real. I know we have all chosen a brown that ends up looking orange or a gray that is more like a purple, and it usually takes a hot minute for artists to understand that this is all because of color profiles, display calibration, brightness settings and saturation levels, whatever all of these even mean, which you can just adjust yourself, by the way. At least on Huion products you can play around with these to achieve the kind of colors you want. And Canvas 16 also comes with a laminated display to enhance the color clarity, to make sure you get the hues you actually want instead of poop. But the main point is that every single screen on Earth is always lying to you slightly. So when you post your art online and someone aggressively asks why you color your OC green, you know what's up with that. I think we can all agree that layers are one of the greatest inventions in art, because they allow you to separate all the different phases of the art process, like the sketch, line art, colors, etc. It feels like you finally have your life together when your layers are all organized and your work is safe and under control, until you switch layers and you forget to switch back, and now you have drawn half an hour on the wrong layer, and even worse, if it is the background layer. So now all your beloved sketches, line art, and colors are fused together, which completely defeats the purpose of digital art. And there is not really a solution to fix this. Just try to be more careful and learn from your mistakes, girly. Now let's talk about the inevitable phase known as brush addiction. And this is something every digital artist has gone through, or might still be going through without an end in sight. We have all just downloaded a bunch of brush packs, just random ones we found and thought looked cool and would magically make us better at drawing. And we organized them, tested them a little, and just abandoned them straight after that. All this effort of trying to find the perfect brush, when in reality those 3 default brushes have actually been there for you from the beginning. We are all just a bunch of clowns, honestly. But isn't it so nice to actually own just one physical pen, instead of 700 marker collection, which is the bare minimum amount you need to have a viable color selection, or having to invest in all kinds of different brushes you need to achieve a certain effect with watercolor or something. And the fact that you can program these buttons on the side of the pen to do whatever you want with them is actually so overpowered. Like, I have my undo button here, and the other one I use for right-clicking. And the same goes with these dial controllers and press keys on the side of the display, because it saves so much freaking time to use these to change the size of my brush or switch to a different tool. And I'm forever grateful for the person who invented this magic. This is the most dramatic canon event of all of these. Forgetting to save your work, and of course your program decides to freeze on your screen and cursor to stop moving. And then you start whispering the holy phrase of please don't crash, please don't crash. And it better not crash, or you end up losing 3 hours worth of work that you will never be able to get back. And once we have all gone through this dramatic moment at least once, we develop something I like to call the save button paranoia, which means saving our work like every 20 seconds, so you end up with a million files of the same artwork. But hey, at least better safe than sorry, right? every digital artist eventually reaches a point where they consider upgrading their setup, which is why I wanted to dedicate a little section in the end of the video for my honest thoughts on this product now that I've been using it for a while. Compared to my old tablet, which also happens to be a 16-inch display from Huion with the same 2.5K resolution, I do really enjoy using this new one. Even though the core specs are very similar, I think the new design on the Kamvas 16 Gen 3 just feels a lot nicer overall, like an upgraded premium version to the old one. It is a tiny bit thicker, which makes it feel more solid and durable, and it's also a bit smaller overall, which is actually great for me because I travel with my tablet quite often. Another thing I noticed pretty quickly is that the screen feels a lot nicer on the eyes, and digital artists know it all too well how your eyes can hurt after a long drawing session. So that won't be a problem with this one. Some other small improvements I noticed is that compared to my old stylus, this new one is slightly smaller but feels pretty much the same to use. Maybe feels a tiny bit more refined than the old one. And the stand design is also improved. There is way more options to position your tablet than in the old one. So overall, a great product. And I can honestly recommend this to other artists who are either thinking of getting into digital or maybe considering upgrading their hardware. And a link to this product will be in the description if you'd like to go check it out yourself. And thank you Huion for spoiling me with all these goodies. They have truly continued the artist tradition of giving me new tools to obsess over, and I truly feel honored. And I truly hope you have enjoyed this video. I want to hear what digital art canon events you art kiddos have gone through, because nothing is more fun than sharing our art burdens. And if you enjoy this kind of artistic, chaotic content, here's also another video for you to watch, because I know you will enjoy this one too. We will be seeing in the next video, art kiddos. Bye bye!